Hey folks, it's Stefan, back again with another episode of The Gamer's Companion to Music. This time we're gonna just take it easy for a little bit and explore the relaxed yet iconic world of Animal Crossing. This game series found its real home on Nintendo's handheld systems, so we're gonna take a look at the music in the 3DS installment, Animal Crossing New Leaf. I discovered some interesting things about the way the music is organized, which you may or may not have already discovered yourself. So get your bells ready and let's jump right in. Animal Crossing New Leaf is the fourth installment in the franchise, but the second to exist in one of the handheld systems. I really think that the game thrives in the DS and 3DS versions because of the convenience of the systems. Animal Crossing becomes one of those games that you just mindlessly check for a few minutes every day, and the handhelds make it much more accessible to you. In New Leaf, you start by moving to a brand new town, only to find out that you've been named the mayor? Who makes someone the mayor of a town they've never been to? I'll never know. But anyway, the goal is really just to relax and live in this town among your villagers while constantly finding ways to improve your home, town, and the lives of the characters around you. The first interesting bit about the music that I found was that the title theme to Animal Crossing is not the same all the way through the series. One way that a game series achieves a sense of cohesion is the opening theme being the same, or at least a variation of itself. If you boot up a Zelda game, there's only one tune you're going to expect to hear, right? Well, even though the theme of the game is different from the GameCube version or from Wild World and City Folk, it still achieves the same style. We hear a very laid-back tempo and the use of piano, and a very serene backbeat in the bongo drums fit right into the relaxed feeling that Animal Crossing is known for. Most of the music has this first melody built into it. Listen to it again here and remember it for later. The instruments that are heard mostly throughout the game are the piano and the guitar. The texture of the guitar blends very well with the piano sound to create something that is very ear-pleasing. Here's a good example of this in the music that plays at 8 p.m. The other sound that you hear a lot is this kind of blend between a harmonica and accordion from my best guesses. It's a very distinctive sound to the series, and when you hear it, you just know. The main structure of the music is pretty simple. The in-game time correlates to the actual time of day, provided that your 3DS is set to the correct time for all you time hoppers out there. As you're roaming around in your town, each hour of the day gets different music. There's a track for 1 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 a.m., 12 a.m., and every hour in between. I'm not saying there's 24 hours of music in the game. There's just 24 short pieces of music that repeat as long as you are out in the world during the hour that it coincides with. If you move indoors or up into the shop area or over to the island, the music will change to fit that particular area. It's kind of a cool thing. This is the way the music has been structured in previous Animal Crossing games too. Animal Crossing tends to be one of those play-it-in-short spurts games for me. I'm not sitting in the game for hours and hours upon end. I'll just play it for about 20 minutes a day. You really start to hear the same music over and over again, because the tendency is to play the game in your daily routine, at pretty much the same times of day. I'm not going to wake up and play the game at 5 a.m., so I'll probably never actually hear that music in-game. Generally speaking, the music sounds more cohesive in the daytime into the normal hours, and a little bit more sporadic in the off hours overnight. This is not meant to be a criticism. If you're trying to fit the mood of 2 a.m., you don't really want to hear a bustling rhythm with a ton of instruments. You want something quiet without a lot of instruments. Conversely, if we're talking about midday, we want to hear something a little more rhythmic, more focus on the actual melody too. Here are some examples. If you play the game at 10 a.m., you'll hear melody and some percussive elements, but nothing too radical. As the afternoon rolls around, the instrumentation starts to fill out a little bit. The noontime music paints a picture of a much fuller landscape musically. Late afternoon has the same type of feeling to it, but as the night rolls through, the music gets slower and slower. Here's 5 p.m. And now here's 8 p.m. Did you hear the difference in tempo? There's still melodic elements, but the percussion really fades in these types of pieces, and rightly so. The overnight music paints a much more serene picture. 1 a.m. is almost completely devoid of any percussive elements at all. Then, as we approach the very early morning, we just start to hear a lot more space in between ideas, and the instrumentation is not full at all. Here's the 4 a.m. music. I've just played for you 5 different pieces of music based on the times of day, and already I hope you can hear the vast diversity in the ideas based just on that time of day. Remember that title music? That makes its way into the time of day music quite a lot. As a reminder, here is your opening motif. Now, here's a montage where we hear this motive arranged in different ways, but it's really all over the place. As an aside, 9 a.m. is one of my favorite tracks in the game, so I'm really glad I was able to use it here. You hear each of these pieces of music treat the same melody in various different ways. The other thing that is notable about this music is the good instrumental diversity. We hear so many different instruments, and sometimes in very rapid succession. The piano and guitar are prevalent, but you'll also hear clarinet, vibes, marimba, electric piano, steel drum, and a slew of percussive elements as well. The interesting thing, though, is that none of these instruments have a very piercing timbre. Timbre is the character and quality of the sound. All of the instruments sound really smooth and provide the musical background that helps create the relaxing feel the game is able to project to the player. Listen to this 6 a.m. piece and you'll probably hear all of the instruments used in the game in about 30 seconds. It's pretty cool. A couple of pieces of music from the previous Animal Crossing games also make their way back into this one. Each of the shops in the game world had their own distinct music. Just to give you one example, here's the roost from New Leaf, and then the roost from City Folk. Pretty much a carbon copy. Now let's turn to a completely different aspect of the music. There's a character that appears every Saturday night in every Animal Crossing game from 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. and he'll play a song for you. His name is KK Slider. Each week, if you go to the Club LOL in New Leaf, he will perform a song for you while the credits scroll, which, by the way, is the perfect time to scroll the credits since it's completely out of the way and you have to listen to the song anyway, so why not? But I digress. So the music he performs for you, he'll give you a bootleg so that you can play it in a CD player or tape deck or piece of furniture in your home. To collect all of these takes some serious dedication. There's at least 85 of them in the game. At least in New Leaf, if you're street passing a lot, you can order the music from other people's houses in the Happy Home Showcase, but in previous versions you could only get one a week. The performed versions are actually slightly different than the bootlegs that you get from them. It's pretty neat since he'll actually sing the melodies and his quote-unquote voice, if you will, is very distinct. Here's KK Disco live. And now here's that bootleg version. Now that's just one example. There are tons of examples and some of the KK music is absolutely wonderful. It's such a cool and unique element that the musicians and collectors alike can really enjoy. I hope they keep this in every Animal Crossing game in the future. Animal Crossing is a wonderful game series. I go through it in phases, but no matter what, I always come back to it. The music is so relaxing. It never takes the center stage, but it is still quite lovely all the same. It's a very interesting concept to create music that is based on the time of day, but the composers in the series have always done a great job of capturing just the right mood. New Leaf has become my favorite game in the series, and I've really been enjoying the music a lot, and I hope you have been too. That'll do it for this episode of The Gamer's Companion to Music. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Enjoyed this episode? Check out the whole playlist and don't forget to leave a comment and subscribe.